The green-haired man took off his earring and then carefully dripped the liquid onto the vine. The vine withered quickly. The green-haired man wrapped the vine tightly around himself and tried to squeeze out the last drop of the century broth. He pulled hard, and the frozen ingredients were pressed together. He yanked again, and the ice spike shattered. The last drop of the century broth floated down, and everyone stared at it in a daze. When the crowd tried to rush forward, the green-haired man stopped them. The century broth would choose its owner, so everyone waited quietly. In the next second, the century broth fell straight into the young man's hand. Its smell spread out and stirred people's hunger. Two people almost tried to snatch it. Luckily, the green-haired man stopped them in time. He reminded them that only the young man was a chef and only he could recreate the century broth. The man wanted the young man to remember the taste. The young man swore he would recreate the true century broth. As if it felt his determination, the century broth shone with a bright light. The young man drank it in one gulp and fell to the ground in the next second. People lifted him up, but he showed a creepy expression. The taste could not be described with words. Even remembering that creepy expression made it appear again, which filled the man with excitement. To recreate the century broth as fast as possible, the young man tested more than 10,000 ingredients. He first used mixed vegetables as the base and added deep sea scallops for flavor. The taste was good, but it was far from the real century broth. He kept trying, but he could not recreate it. He went to ask the old woman for help, but she had spent 30 years making the century broth. He felt hopeless. After she tasted his soup, she frowned. She told him that his broth lacked only the final step. He was inspired. Back in the kitchen, he followed her guidance. He listened to the ingredients and handled every step carefully. After 2.5 hours of simmering, he made a clear and shining broth. He drank a sip, and happiness filled his heart. But even in his joy, he felt something was still missing. While he thought, a little penguin appeared at the door. He thought it was hungry, so he placed the century broth in front of it. The little penguin looked at the broth and drooled. When a drop of its drool fell into the soup, the true century broth was finally born. The young man picked up a spoon and tasted it. The moment the broth touched his tongue, the same creepy expression appeared again. He never expected that the little penguin's drool was the final ingredient of the century broth.